My name is John Powell. I'm an attorney and I direct the Restorative Justice Clinic here at the law school at Campbell University. I graduated from Campbell Law School in 1998 and very quickly became a criminal defense attorney. And the clinic was really born out of a lot of frustration that I had of not really being able to accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish as a defense attorney in a system that really is not designed to meet the needs of the people that are brought into it. And so just about every day I would have the thought that in so many cases there has to be a better way to go about this. And then I was introduced to a man named Tony Baker, who was a new criminal law professor at Campbell. He had been exposed to this notion of restorative justice in other parts of the world where he had worked and lived. I had never heard of restorative justice, but when he started talking to me about it, I knew that that was probably the answer to the frustration that I was having working as a part of this criminal legal system that I was working in. Because every day in court I would see a courtroom full of people that really did not want to be there, people that had been injured in some way, either by crime or by committing crime, and a system that really was not designed to meet the needs of the people that were being brought into the system. Restorative justice is a theory of justice that recognizes that crime damages people, relationships, and communities. And I have a passion to do what I can to be involved in helping people, relationships, and communities. And so restorative justice made a lot of sense to me. Our current dean at the time was Willis Witchard, and our chief district court judge was Ed McCormick, and those two men got together at our request and listened to Tony and I talk about restorative justice. And Tony wanted a clinic and I wanted something to serve the criminal system and the community. And so those ideas came together very nicely, and those two men supported the idea of having a clinic in the law school. And so about a year and a half later, through the work of a task force that they had put together, we made a recommendation to start a clinic that would serve the juvenile court in Harnett, Johnson, and Lee County. That's the jurisdiction that the law school was located in at the time. So we began in the fall semester of 2003. It's hard for me to believe that I've been here for 17 years, but I have. We started with 3 cases that were sent to us that semester by the juvenile court system. We probably have received more than that in email today, because last school year we did about 140 cases in our program. A lot of what we do is working within school systems to help to combat this thing that is called the school to prison pipeline, where schools have been using punitive measures that tend to push kids out of school and into the criminal system, thus sometimes perhaps winding up in prison. So school to prison pipeline. We give schools an opportunity to use our services, which is a non-punitive and more restorative way to help children resolve conflict. Give schools a way to not push them out with out-of-school suspension and arrest. We learned from the court system that a lot of their cases were being sent to them by the schools, and so we offered our services to the schools, and they bought into that concept, and our program that started as a juvenile court system turned into more of a school diversion system, and so I'm very happy about that. We also, though, have expanded outside of schools and juvenile court into the adult system, and we have jurisdictions now that send us more serious cases. An example of one of those was in Durham. Last year we were sent a case where a man had fired a weapon in his apartment, where the bullet went through the floor of his apartment and through the stomach of a 10-year-old girl that was asleep in her bed below in her apartment. He turned himself in the next day. That made him a good candidate for our program, and so we did a restorative process and really turned out and had a beautiful result in that. We have murder cases that come our way, sometimes victims who have lost loved ones to murder. We'll find out about the work that we do, and they feel that they have gone about as far as they can go in their healing process without being able to have some dialogue with the person that has committed the murder. And so we work with those individuals in the same process that we would a school fight, where we meet with them individually. We exchange information between them to prepare them to come together for a meeting, or to create dialogue through written and spoken word that we help to facilitate. Another expansion in our program has been that about 6 years ago, Central Prison in Raleigh invited us to come in and start doing circle process. If you see the pieces that are on my desk, those are all called talking pieces, and the circle process is facilitated with talking pieces where we will give a group a prompt and we will pass the piece around the circle, and when it comes to a person, that's their invitation to answer the prompt and everyone else's invitation to listen to what they have to say. So it gives everyone equal voice in the circle. It gives us a safe space to become vulnerable with each other and to begin to get in touch with a lot of those hurtful things that have happened to people throughout the course of their lives. And our law students are involved in every aspect of this. I teach them for 3 hours a week in a classroom setting, which is also very experiential. They get involved in going out into the schools and helping us to facilitate dialogue to solve conflict. They get involved in the criminal work that we do. I had about 10 students this semester that are going with us into the prisons to help to facilitate circles in the prisons. And another aspect of what's happening with our clinic, because we have been at it for a long time, especially in school systems, other school systems are asking us to come into their systems and teach them how to do the work that we've been doing pretty effectively for about 17 years now. When I was a student at Campbell Law School back between 1995 and 1998, I never could have dreamed that I would be working as a professor here now. The term restorative justice was something that was not even known to me. One thing that I tell my students now is I don't really want them to think in terms of what kind of job am I going to get, but please think in terms of what kind of work do I want to do. I knew the kind of work that I wanted to do. The job that I have did not exist, but persisting toward the work that I wanted to do led into the job that I have. I'm one of the fortunate few that have actually been able to write my own job description. So if restorative justice sounds like something that you would be interested in, I hope that you will be in touch with me as soon as you can, and I hope that you'll be a part of our clinic.